Hello everyone, welcome again to ccqMap.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is another tutorial video for QMap Starter. I know that your time is valuable, so I will try to make it as simple and succinct as possible. Recently, some people have asked me about how to select sample points correctly and accurately. So in this tutorial, I'm going to talk about the proper method of sample point selection in QMap Starter. Let's take a look at this picture of a snake. Some of you might recognize it as we have used this picture before in our QMap Starter general introduction video. We will use this image again today because it is a very straightforward representation of different distinguishing colors within one image. So it is convenient for us to define the desired feature to be extracted. Let's say our objective today is to extract all the black colored scales for this snake. So here is the sequence of choosing sample points and performing information extraction. Step 1. Zoom in on the image so you can see your desired feature clearly. You can also pan around the image by holding down your left mouse button and drag, so you can navigate easily. This step is to avoid accidental selection of sample points that are not from your desired feature. For example, let's look at this piece of dark scale here. First of all, you don't want to select any points that is outside of this piece of scale, such as these two white scales. On top of that, if you look closely, so let me zoom in further here. If you look closely, this piece of scale contains several different colors. We have black color here, and some yellowish color at the middle, such as these areas. So it is really up to you to decide what the desired feature is, which means if you consider the yellowish color as a part of black colored scale, by all means include it into your selection. Otherwise, if you do not consider this yellowish color as so-called black colored scale, do not include it into your selection. So everything is depending on your own definition. In this exercise, we define the yellowish color not part of the black colored scale, because the yellowish color is really common and it may be mixed up with other elements of the image. Then we enter step 2, the actual selection of the sample points. We go to linear analysis pattern as usual. Carefully select at least 6 sample points based on our definition. We can spread out our sample points to get a better and more accurate result. You can do this by panning around, zooming in or out, and make selection. As more points you select, the more descriptive information is fed into the extraction mathematical model. Bear in mind that we will only select black colored part from dark colored scales. Notice that all selected sample points and their parameters, namely red, green, and blue values, are displayed in this window. In this window, you can click on these buttons R, G, B, X, Y to sort these points based on ascending or descending order. At the same time, you can use the Information Color tab to adjust sample points color here. But we will just use green in this exercise. Another important function worth mentioning here is that we are able to deselect or delete any sample points that are not satisfactory. For example, let's say we accidentally selected 2 sample points from these 2 white colored scales, which do not belong to our desired feature. These 2 points, point 16 and 17, will definitely disturb the accuracy of extraction, as they feed incorrect information into the software. We can use 2 ways to solve this issue. Method 1 is to delete these 2 undesirable points. We can deselect all the sample points first, and then select only these 2 undesirable points and click Delete button to delete them. If we click Delete, these 2 points will be gone forever. Method 2 is to deselect only these 2 points from the series to prevent them from entering the internal mathematical calculation for the extraction process. By using this method, you never delete these 2 undesirable points. So in case if you want to reuse them, you can always include them back into the extraction process. You can do this by select all and just deselect, untick these 2 points, namely point 16 and 17. And these 2 points will be excluded from the internal process. Step 3 is to click the test button to perform the extraction. So let's zoom out and do that. Now we have a preliminary look of the extraction result. At this stage, we can decide whether this result is desirable or not. If it's not desirable, we can always make adjustment by adding or subtracting any number of sample points. It is encouraged to run the test multiple times to find the most desirable result. The concept here is very similar to trial and error. So now we just trying to look for the scales that we missed from the extraction process, such as these. So we will add these points by right-clicking. as you can see, there are still some points here, some areas here, not picked up by the software. So we will just zoom in a bit more. And include these points into the extraction process and test. So as you can see, it's all about trial and error and achieve the most accurate result. You may have noticed that some of the black colored scales are not fully extracted, such as this one. That is because the middle part, which contains the yellowish color, we did not include this color into our sample point selection process. So these colors are excluded from the extraction process. Now, let's zoom out and have a final look at our extraction result. It looks quite satisfactory. If you are fine with this result, we can proceed to the final step, which is to flatten the extraction result onto the image. We can do that by clicking the Operation and Documentation tab. Under this tab, click Process. And the extracted information will be flattened onto the original image. You can save the final image by clicking the Save As button. And that concludes our tutorial today. Well, hopefully this video clarifies some of your confusion about sample point selection sequence. Here is a summary of the 3 steps we mentioned earlier for your easy reference. Thank you again for watching this video. Have a great week ahead and see you in the next episode.